like thrust of design for the game, right? Like Final Fantasy 14 has a very clear story and they're going down a very clear path. WoW has its own sort of lore and they've been digging into that over time. Elder Scrolls similarly has its own very concentrated lore that they're like they can dig into almost endlessly. But this game, it's like, are they being like directed by Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast, right? Like you must do this campaign thing. And like at a glance, just looking at it, it looked like they were sort of following along with the releases with paper D&D, which is cool. Like that's like to a certain extent that's cool, but at the same time, sort of narratively, it's like it sort of jumps all over the place. So like when I was looking at the content as a whole, like it didn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. It wasn't until I like went and found out like, oh, like hey, they're they're copying like the pen and paper like modules or whatever. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's kind of neat. But at the same time, right, like how hard does that restrict them from what they can do? As far as like, hey, we'd like to do new content X, and it's like, nope, you're doing this campaign or whatever that's coming out in 6 months. Uh huh. So somewhere else. Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah, I was curious enough to actually go and look. I was like, okay, well, like what's the next one likely to be? I can't find it now, but I want to say that it was something else like Ice and Icewind Dale related. And I'm like, does that mean they're going to go back and do that again after having what, two modules set there, three, four? Let's see. Right. Yeah, it just seemed odd to me because like are they going to want to like not only are they going to want to go back to it as a design team, but our players going to be excited about. Yeah, here it is. Icewind Dale, Rhyme of Frost Maiden. That's their next big adventure for D&D, and that's like end of this year, September. So are they going to do that, or are they going to do something totally different? I'll be very curious to see like what their next big content is going to be. Yeah, that just seems really strange to me. I definitely can't complain though. Like the breadth of content in this game is actually kind of crazy. It isn't really apparent until you do hit 80 and start digging into all the campaigns just how much stuff is there. Yeah, redone like low level maps. Right. Do they talk about their like upcoming stuff like months out, or is it much closer to release? Is it on their like dev blog page or whatever? Let's see. Search maybe, possibly. Their page is kind of ass to navigate, honestly. Like a like an actual sort of like infographic or post or something. I see the roadmap streams, but I don't see. Let's see. I I will say that Zerial fight, like I was not kidding when I was saying that is a copy of an FF14 fight. Like that is really weird to me. Like really weird to me. It is like I mean you can't really say plagiarizing for game mechanics, but it is like they're both angel fights and like it has like exact combat mechanics, not like, oh, that's kind of similar. It's like circular arena, big giant angel, does rain of blades, targets two players, drag them to the corners, does crisscross hatches, rushes across the map, does a big but like it's literally the fight. I've never seen anything quite like that before. I mean, I know like MMO devs like steal, you know, kind of mechanics and ideas from each other all the time. That's no big deal. But like, I don't think I've ever seen a whole fight like that. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, huh? Episode 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they talking about the episodes being like patches and then the modules? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Interesting. And, that, and that's supposed to be like next quarter. Looks like. So have they been like delayed severely by COVID, or they were still roughly on track dev wise? Yeah. Even stuff is pushed out by like a month or two. It's not a huge big deal. Existing dungeons reworked. Okay, so they are looking at doing that. Expanded game state tuning capabilities, whatever that means. Big surprise. New achievement system. Well, I will say it's pretty healthy to see a roadmap like this, like not just obviously because there's roadmap, but also like this would have been made pre-COVID times. So I don't know how healthy the population was, but they've certainly got a bigger population now, which means more money, which is good. It's just a question of can they keep those people around? I don't know, like you personally, if you've seen like an influx of players into the guild or just online in general or whatever. Uh huh. Sure. Yeah, yeah. Yep. It already seems pretty damn crazy active to me. Like I was actually like legitimately surprised when I started playing this that like I was, brand new barbarian, like level 10, queue up to the first dungeon, and like the queue was like less than 2 minutes. And I was like, what the hell? Because like in the other games I played, like they have a huge problem with DPS queues. Like they're just so fucking slow, so fucking slow. Um, it's still trust me, it's not that bad. Like in Elder Scrolls, it wasn't uncommon for it to be like a half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever for some dungeon, which is pretty miserable. And Final Fantasy 14 was similarly bad for DPS. They just had a real problem with getting like tanks in particular, healers to a somewhat lesser degree, which is understandable. People don't like tanking because they get yelled at. Yeah, I wonder. It's a little bit strange to me because paladins are so popular and obviously clerics, but I don't know. I just don't like healing. I definitely see crap loads of DPS in my groups in Avernus. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's also an issue. People are gonna like look at the classes and be like, Warlock healer, what? Like people who have some passing familiarity are definitely not gonna look at Warlock and be like, I'm gonna pick that to heal. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Their new executive producer or whatever. Sure. Right. Sure. Uh huh. Right. Right. Uh, y- yeah, that'd be kind of interesting to see because I wonder. I don't know. I wonder how much agency he's given because a hell of a lot depends on their parent company. Like, how much autonomy do they give the team, and how much autonomy do they give this guy? Because like for Final Fantasy 14, I don't know if you're familiar with how that game like launched and how it went and all that stuff. But it failed out of the gate, colossally, catastrophically, um, and I've never seen this happen before, and I don't think it ever has happened anywhere else. But like the company behind it, said, all right, we fucked this up completely. Let's fix it. And they put the time and the money and the effort and the manpower, and put somebody in charge of it, and said, do whatever you need to do to fix this, and they did, and it's thriving and it's doing well. Whether or not whoever it is, Perfect World is going to do that with Cryptic, I don't know. I'd be curious to see, because I like this game. I don't think is in like nearly. It's not like in dire straits or anything, right? But it's more like just playing this. I'm genuinely impressed by a lot of stuff that I'm seeing here, and I don't think that sort of the broader community is aware of it, because like all the different like gaming like forums and places that I post, like I don't see anybody talk about this game, and that's even like right now with everybody like let's dig up 20-year-old MMOs and go play them because I'm bored as hell at home.
Yeah, from COVID-19, right?
Yep. Yeah. And
Yeah.
like everybody's playing. I mean, I see people playing, like freaking like EverQuest 1999 servers and all this other ancient bullshit.
RuneScape.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and people are just like playing like, hey, let's play MapleStory or whatever. But I don't see anybody talking about Neverwinter. Like all I ever see about people talking about Neverwinter is, yeah, I tried it, in beta or at launch. It was pay to win. I quit playing. Like that's it. Like that's basically all I see.
And it's honestly such a misconception because Neverwinter, it isn't a pay to win. There's the option, but you don't have to pay to win. And that's, a lot of people just see it and think, oh, this looks really difficult. The grind is really slow. I don't think I can do it. But they don't really give the game like a fair chance to really learn like, the ways of how to make Astral Diamonds, how to farm things for yourself, what's a good investment, what's not a good investment, and all these different things that, can be covered and done in the game. And I think people just kind of see, especially on PC, they see like the prices on the auction house for certain things that are necessary, and they just go, oh hell no, and they don't even bother.
Yeah, I mean it's a big problem, like, because there's not, like we're talking about with YouTube, there's nobody out there evangelizing for it, right, that has like really broad reach. The company certainly isn't doing it, because I sure as hell wasn't seeing any marketing for it. Like honestly, this is actually kind of funny because like the game came out how many years ago now? Seven,
yeah. June of 2013.
So it's been out for 7 years, and I played. This is actually really funny because I was talking with some of my friends. One of them who did, isn't playing it, but we apparently did play it in beta because we still had our accounts. Like when I went to look at my friends list, like he was on my friends list, and I was like, what the hell? Like I don't even remember playing it, but I know we like tried it out. We were just like, this is janky, quit. And for 7 years, not only did I not play it, but I didn't even like see or hear anything about it. Like for a lot of other games, because I keep up with like MMOs sort of just generally. Like the genre like really kind of fell off a cliff in the last 10 years. But like the games that were still active, like Elder Scrolls is a really good example. That game was a train wreck at launch. It feels like Redemption Arcs is like the theme here, because FF14 was like a massive train wreck. ESO was as well, but it turned the game around. And then there's the ones that were pretty good to begin with, or have done well, like Guild Wars 2 and WoW. And those have run into other problems. Like Guild Wars 2, the parent company that owned them, fired a bunch of the devs. WoW has its own issues. I just don't really have any interest in playing that. But the only reason that I wound up checking this out, because I certainly wasn't getting any information from the community or the company, is that there was a thread about this, and some people did post about it recently, right, like within the last couple of months, and they were like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a really fun game. Or like, yeah, I played it. It was really good. Or like, yeah, like the stuff past the beginning is really fun. I was like, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. And sure enough, they were right. But man, the intro to this game, unless you're motivated to get past it, it is not a good introduction at all.
No.
The oldest areas in this game are super, super janky. And just the introduction to the city and the first couple of quests is not appealing. And between that and having sort of the loot box stuff thrown in your face right away, it's not a good initial impression.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. And it's funny because they used to have like a different tutorial or like introduction kind of thing for the game. And I'm not really sure why they changed it, because in reality, like, the intro quest wasn't that bad back then. But now, though, it really doesn't do any service to the game, and it doesn't really highlight, like, the key things that would pull players into the game, right?
Yeah, and and it isn't even, not even just like a tutorial, but like, say the first, I don't know, first couple of areas and the first couple of quests, really, like, you know, the like Many Towers Orcs area and Black Lake District, and then oh god, Acquisitions Incorporated, that's another one. Like, that's, you know, the first campaign that you run into, and it's like, if you're a huge fan of Penny Arcade, great, you'll love it. Otherwise, I was just like, I don't find this funny at all, this is not cool. And it wasn't until probably a week or two after that, it wasn't even really Elemental Evil. I think it wasn't until I got to like Undermountain, Icewind Dale, Ravenloft, Chult, that I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And I haven't even, like, I've barely touched Sharendar, and I haven't done the Underdark at all. Dreadwing was kind of whatever. But even like the Well of Dragons area is pretty neat too. But just, yeah, like those first couple early areas, and then having Acquisitions Incorporated as like your low level campaign, like, it's not it's not a good way to get into the game.
No, nobody in the game that I know of actually likes Acquisitions Incorporated. It's like the number one enemy of campaigns next to the Storm King's Thunder. Like, yep. People hate that campaign. It took me eons to finish it because I just hated going back there. It was a bad move overall. Like, I get that they wanted to introduce a campaign that was specifically for low levels, but I think making one that starts at like level 16 when people are already getting up to level 50 within like the first day or two,
yep,
it would have been better to have a more simpler campaign that didn't increase stat caps or anything like that, but still was for max level at the time, which would have been level 70. It would have made more sense, and I think it would have been a lot better for players. And I think
I feel like Undermountain is a much better, like, hey, if you hit this point, it's much more likely you're going to keep going, because damn, there's some pretty cool stuff in there, right, or whatever else. And some of the other areas are like that too. Like, I thought Chult was super cool. Like, Ravenloft, like, not everybody likes that vibe, but I think they fucking nailed Barovia. Like, it's really well done.
Barovia is nice.
Yeah, it's extremely good. Icewind Dale, like, if you're, you know, any sort of like Drizzt nerd, like, you're going to geek out over that stuff. I know people don't like the Storm King's Thunder progression because apparently it takes like 50 bajillion years to finish, but like the first area there is fucking cool looking. And I haven't even touched the Underdark yet, or the Sharendar stuff yet.
Yeah, I mean, the Sea of Moving Ice, like, the actual, you know, like, it's a very beautiful map. I will say that.
Hold on, let me open the map right now. Are there any other areas besides, let me see here, because I'm not sure that I've actually seen everything in that campaign. So it's Sea of Moving Ice, Bryn Shander.
Then there will be Cold Run. That you'll unlock.
Is that an area or a dungeon or what?
It's another area. So basically, when you finish, quote unquote, finish Bryn Shander, or whatever it's called, you'll go to Lonelywood, which is another map with more quests.
Okay, I have that unlocked actually. Let me go take a look at that. That's a full map.
Yeah, it's a full map. And then when you're done Lonelywood, you'll get sent to Cold Run.
Okay. So it's 4 areas for that campaign. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, basically.
How many areas are in the Underdark?
Underdark? Essentially, there's only one, which is Mantle Daris.
Aw, bummer.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do with Underdark, because, like I said, there's, like, the one map, there's the Demogorgon, there's, what is it?
That's just kind of disappointing, because Undermountain is so big. Like, I figured Underdark is such a, I don't know, particularly with how much attention they paid to Icewind Dale, I'm sort of surprised Underdark isn't bigger than that.
Yeah, there isn't necessarily a lot of content. Like, even the daily quests that you do in Underdark, essentially, it's like one quest a day. And it's usually very, very simple stuff. You know, they do have a storyline. I don't know if you've played through it yet. There's actually 2 storylines related to...
Not yet, yeah. I have both of them unlocked, but I've kind of been waiting to go and do those. Maze Engine and Underdark. Do they both use, like, the same area, or...?
They go to different mini areas, like, quest instances. So, and some of them are, like, really, really cool. They do look pretty neat. It's just, I don't know, there's a lot more they could have done with it that they didn't do. That is a little bit disappointing in Underdark. And yes, Underdark is also old.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe that's probably like old D&D nerd bias, just my thinking. Like I think of Underdark as kind of a big deal, like Anchorman style, but I guess maybe they don't, or maybe it's just old, who knows.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but you know, like someone else here is saying that they just became really lazy in the Underdark. Like they had Underdark and the Demogorgon raid was really fun at the time, but aside from that trial, there really wasn't much else to do. I did like that at the time they added a normal version of demo, and then they added like the epic version of demo, but now there's really only the epic version. So
Right.
I don't really know why they removed like the regular version. I think it would have been better to keep for new players, but maybe it was just too much to put on their system, like too much extra for like.
It was probably queues, if nothing else. Like the health of queues is one reason they'll strip them out.
Yeah, there's also that too. It's hard to say, but kind of sucks that they.
Which is cool looking. I guess there is another area in Underdark though, isn't there? One of the starting zones. I can't remember the name of it. Whispering Caverns. That place.
Oh yeah, there is a Whispering Caverns. It's not really like a.
Valley is technically connected to Drow crap. I don't know. Just a little odd to me. But like you said, I guess if it's old content. How many maps are on Chult? I only have the river area unlocked.
There should be Port Nyanzaru, Soshin Star River, and the Lost City of Amu.
Nice. Is the city a full map as well?
Yes.
Sweet. Alright, well, I'm looking
Yeah. And actually, this might just be my opinion, but the Chult maps actually look really, really nice. They did really good, like especially the Lost City of Amu. It's just a very beautiful map in general. Like they really did themselves a good one with that map.
What was the most recent content like right before Underdark, or not Underdark, Undermountain?
Undermountain?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Right before that.
Chult was 12. Ravenloft was, I think, 14. What came after Ravenloft? Oh god, it's hard to think of all the campaigns now. Wait, I can just open them. So maybe it was Ravenloft that came right before Undermount. Oh no. So I think it went, I'm trying to think. It was either Acquisitions Incorporated, Ravenloft, then Undermountain? Heart of Fire. Yeah, Heart of Fire was Acquisitions Incorporated. So maybe it went Ravenloft, Acquisitions Incorporated, and then Undermountain? It might have been, because at the time they were really trying to pull in new players, because long story short, in Ravenloft, what happened is, you know those hunts you were mentioning earlier?
Yeah.
Basically there was a bug related to them, where you could make like infinite amounts of Astral Diamonds. And the dev team said, we're having a hard time fixing it. There will be repercussions for people that are like abusing the bug. They did say it at one point, but it wasn't like super out in the open. And this bug went from the test server all the way to the live server, and then it went on to PS4 and Xbox as well. And they weren't fixing the bug at all. Like, I don't know what happened, but from what I understand, it was just really difficult to fix, and they were having a hard time fixing it. I'm not a dev, so I can't really judge. Maybe it was really hard to fix, right? So what happened is once they finally did get it fixed, they ended up banning everyone, or like there were consequences for everyone that had exploited the bug, right? Problem was it also combined people that really weren't involved, because the bug would be activated like by one person and it would activate for the whole team. And if you were like a new player going with an experienced player, and an experienced player activated that exploit, essentially, you really didn't know any different, right? So there were some people that, in my opinion anyways, were pretty innocent. They didn't intentionally exploit. And a lot of people got permabans, temporary bans, or they had items and Astral Diamonds stripped directly from their account. Right. There was a huge loss, and it affected a massive portion of the server, and we lost a ton of the community. Like, I heard stories of like full alliances going dead, full guilds going dead.
Jeez, that's awful.
It is awful, but I don't know. I don't know what Cryptic was thinking, but that's what happened. So I think after that, they lost a huge amount of their player base, and I think that's why they tried to bounce back with Acquisitions Incorporated as like a new player friendly kind of campaign and tried to advertise it as such. But they tried to add in like this kind of humor and everything, and it didn't go well at all. No one liked the campaign, I swear.
Yeah, I hated it.
You know?
And I'm saying that even as somebody who, a long time ago, like, I used to read Penny Arcade, and I was like, yeah, this is funny, but that was years ago. And, like, tonally, it's just it's so out of place with the rest of the game.
It is extremely out of place. Like, I don't really know whose idea it was, but it's a lot of effort gone into, in my opinion, a wasted project. So then after that, a lot of, especially endgamers, they got really bored with the game because, like, no one wants to do this low-level, extremely low-level content, right? Like, it's good for boons, and then, you know, it was a nightmare to do. People didn't want to do it, and then, like, you had to do the same quests over and over again. Like, it was just a bad campaign overall.
That was the end of 2018. So Undermountain was what, June or July of last year?
It was, no, I think it was like April of last year.
Oh, okay, it was early. Yeah, I think Undermountain is really damn good, at least what I've seen of it so far.
Yeah, they really bounced back with Undermountain, and they were able to create more of like a player base with that. I think it brought in a lot more players, and it was just a lot more new player friendly. You know, I think it was a good time to increase the level cap just because, you know, it kind of brought everyone to a more even ground, and that way, like, you didn't have players that were like impossibly ahead of like new players. And yeah, I think they really bounced back with Undermountain, and then Avernus was a good addition, Stardock was a good addition, Module 19 is going to be a good addition, so they're doing pretty good so far. They just, you know, hopefully no more mistakes.
Yeah, I just based on really probably the last week of play or so, I've actually like been trying to get more of my friends into it, because when I first started, I wasn't like I said, you know, the intro experience to this, I was just like, they're not gonna none of my friends are gonna care about this. But once I got past, you know, really like Neverwinter City, which is sort of ironic, and into the other campaigns, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, any MMO has its mistakes, right? You know, I'm not a huge gamer, so I haven't like played like a ton of games like you were saying, like ESO or Final Fantasy or anything like that, but I know I've played enough games to know that, you know what, sometimes devs make bad decisions or they release content that's not great. Every company has its mistakes, but I think for the most part over the last year, Neverwinter has done really well with the content they're releasing. So
yeah,
I just think a lot of the older content, especially like for new players, it would be easier to sort it out, essentially, and like, you know, more guidance in how to do things in the game. I think that would make a big difference.
I do like the fact that you get in a guild and you have like 10,000 people to talk to because of alliances. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, alliances can bring about some drama for some people, not all people, but you know, it's just when you have a group of, you consider 150 people and 13 per guild and 13 guilds. It's what? I suck at math. 150 by 13. So that's just under 2,000 people. People are going to have different opinions, right? It's a lot of people to try and manage in one space. But at the same time, it's good that they limited it down to 13 guilds. And that way, like, you're not having, like, all the guilds just in one alliance. And then there's, like, no point to an alliance, right? Because I know I played another game, Dofus, where literally you can have 100 guilds and one alliance. It's the most pointless system ever.
Chat room for the entire server.
Exactly. Like, it makes no sense. So I do like that they limit the alliances a bit. But I think it would be nice if there was maybe either, like, some more benefits to an alliance aside from just the social aspect. You know, like, I mean, it's nice that you can visit each other's strongholds. You know, you can organize the Mastercraft vendors out back so that, you know, one guild can't build them all. So you can spread them out. Like, there's some benefits. You know, it's easier to do, like, certain stronghold raids, like I was mentioning before, like the Dragonflight, the Marauders, the Siege. But again, those are so far outdated that no one really runs them anyway. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things that could be updated.
Yeah, the Stronghold stuff to me was just sweet. Some quests that give good experience, I'll do these daily.
Yeah. And then too, like when you hit like level 20 in a guild, you don't really need those resources anymore. So there's not really much point to doing all those quests, right? So, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I still enjoy the game. I just, I think especially for new players, a lot of stuff in the game can be kind of misleading. Or not misleading, just not straightforward enough.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, if you're like working on videos regularly, this would definitely be the time to do like new player friendly stuff.
Yeah, I should. I really should. I'm always focusing on the things I find fun, but I think it would be good to do like a lot more videos breaking down. Like one of the ideas I had was to do like a video per campaign, just explaining like tips, things you should know, where to start, what to focus on in your campaign, because in reality there's a lot of extra things in certain campaigns that you don't need to unlock, at least not right now anyways, and people will waste a lot of currency on them when they don't need to. So, you know, just outlining the necessary things, you know, Dread Ring, farming the enchanting stones, rank 5, you know, going over, you know, just little nicks and knacks like that.
It'd definitely be handy. I mean, if you don't enjoy doing it, don't bother, but if you like putting them together.
Yeah, I like doing videos, but even in my free time anyway, since I was younger, I've always liked video editing. It's just, I stumble on my words a lot when I talk, and I don't know, when I play back a video, I don't want to be like, what was I gonna say? What, like, I don't know. It bothers me when I play back my videos, and I'm like, no. And I'll re-record a video, like, I don't know how many times to try and get rid of, like, any kind of stutters or pause, but...
Have you been doing scripts for them?
You know what? I've tried doing scripts too, and you know what? Apparently I just suck at reading too. I don't know. Oh, God. But... yeah... it's good. Neverwinter's a good game. I think too, a lot of the graphics are pretty well done in the game.
Yeah, it still looks solid.
Yeah. They've definitely made some updates to graphics over the years, which I think has helped a bit, but yeah, Neverwinter overall is just a very underrated game, in my opinion anyway. You know what else I think Neverwinter could probably work on?
What's that?
Events. Because they have, like, annual events, but, like, every year, they basically just repeat it. So once you've done the event once, there's not usually a lot to look forward to, aside from, like, the Jubilee event, because you have all the sales, and usually they add new items relative to whatever content is relative at that time. But for the most part, like other events, they're very outdated. There's not, you know, there's not a whole lot to, I don't want to say not to farm, but...
The event I saw in the Jubilee was terrible. The merchant escort thing or whatever.
What, the Jubilee one?
Yeah.
I don't think it was that bad.
It was like piles of people pushing follow mob and then like just walking along behind the merchant back to the fireplace and repeat.
Well, yeah, it was very repetitive, but the rewards were good. I think that counts for something.
I'm sad I didn't get more sweet throw-ins. I didn't realize how sweet they were until after they were gone.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. I think the merchant is still in.
He is, but I dumped all my currency by that point.
Oh.
People were like, buy lots of the food things. You'll sell them later. I was like, okay, I don't know any better. Sure.
Yeah, I ended up buying just like a boatload of abyssal chickens. So now I have an alt somewhere with 23 abyssal chickens, I think. And I didn't even farm the event that much. So, yeah. But honestly, if you think like the Jubilee event is bad, you should see some of the other events. They're worse.
I don't think of any of the other games do them well. I think other than WoW, most of the other games I've played, the like festival stuff is kind of mediocre.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think, what's the next event coming up? Probably Midsummer Festival, right? Oh no, Celebration of Lyra.
ESO is doing a big PvP thing right now, but I'm like not big on MMO PvP at all.
Yeah, well that's another thing in Neverwinter. The PvP system is pretty much dead. Like, no one PvPs anymore. It's just, PvP seems to be like, because there's no rating, scaling, matchup system in PvP, right? So you have a few really good players that have been PvPing for eons or are really like maxed out and good at PvP. And if you go in as a new player, like, you're just going to get pummeled into the ground. Like, you stand no chance. And some people might still like enjoy the challenge, but realistically it's pretty off-putting because if you don't have the best stuff, essentially you're just not going to be good at it. So
yeah, the ESO has that problem like to the nth degree. There's a very specific set of gear that you need to be wearing to PvP, and if you don't, like, you'll just get absolutely mulched by anybody with a proper setup. And it's not, there's nothing that tells you that whatsoever, right? Like, you like queue up, you find the guy in the first town, he's like, go do PvP, get some experience. You're like, hey, I'm a new player, I need experience. And you go do it, and you just get absolutely shredded, and you're like, well, that wasn't fun whatsoever, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, exactly.
FF14, they completely tossed the system they had before, and they replaced it with this weird system. It's like completely separate from the base game. Everybody is totally static, like flat scaled to one level, which is balanced, and that's fine. But it's like this weird stripped down version of whatever class that you normally play. So you'll have like, instead of 2 bars of abilities or whatever, you'll have like 1/2 full bar, and that's your entire class. And again, like, good for balance, but I didn't find it very interesting at all.
Yeah, I think something else too with the the PvP. There's not really any good rewards to get from it,
Right.
so there's not even an incentive to run it. I mean, Gauntlgrim, like, you'd get glory, but there's not really a whole lot you can buy with glory. I think if they added a lot more, like, you could buy like refining stones or refinement points, maybe like some mounts or some companions. I don't know if there's something they added to add more incentive to PvP. I think a lot more people would run it, but because not only is it dominated by elite players, but there's also like no incentive to want to PvP in the game, it's kind of just become a dead system. And I'm curious to know if they're ever going to rework it. I know they tried to fix the problem with elite players dominating by adding like a solo queue, so you can't like queue as a pre-meditated group, right? Because people do that. They go in a group and, okay, we're all good, we'll dominate, right? But they added the solo queue, but it never took off, because unfortunately, without trying to like match people who are at even a similar item level, which still would be a broken system to work with anyways. So I don't know if there would really be a point to that. It's just, I don't know how they could improve PvP to make it better. But
yeah, like I said, MMO PvP is not my thing. Like if I want to, if I want to play something competitive, I'll go play Call of Duty or Destiny or whatever, Valorant or CS or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
League of Legends or Dota. Basically, a game that's like custom built for that, rather than an MMO where it's bolted on and it has like this whole like item level and gearing sort of hanging over it.
Yeah, for sure. I think, in a way, I think they could probably even do with like removing the whole PvP system from the game. Obviously, there's like a handful of players that wouldn't like it, but as saying, it's only a handful of players. Something I would like to see back in the game would be what was called the Foundry. I don't know if you've read anything on that so far.
I did, yeah. I saw they pulled it completely out of this game and Star Trek as well, I guess.
Yeah, basically, players could go and they could customize their own maps and their own quest lines, and then they could like publish them onto the live server, and other people could go play them. It was a way to, kind of like, how you have like D&D and the Dungeon Master tends to lead a storyline.
Yeah.
Either like one invented by themselves or just followed from like a D&D book, right? But the Foundry, it was kind of like you could be your own Dungeon Master and virtually create your own storyline. And people would do like series like part 1, part 2, part 7. Like they would really go all out, and like people love to play them. You would get a little bit of Astral Diamonds for playing like a new one every day, like a featured Foundry quest.
Right.
And then at the end, you could tip something like 200, 400 Astral Diamonds, which to any player, it's not a lot. But when you have like 10,000 people running your quest and tipping that, it adds up, right?
Sure.
So the Foundry was a really good system, but then they killed it by taking out the rewards you get from running Foundries. And again, without the rewards and without the incentive, less people started to play it. Then less people started to make their own quests and their own storylines. And it became a dead system that instead of having that whole system legging down the game, they just decided to remove it, which really sucks. But yeah, it's a shame. I kind of hope that one day they'll bring back like the Foundry system, because I think, especially like now, if they were to bring it back as like a new content, like even though it's returning, if they were to try and like introduce it as new content, and they added like some kind of like related daily quests or something like related to it, I think it would be really popular. Like right now in the game, I think a lot of people would, hop on board with that essentially. But I don't know, I can't see them ever bringing it back to the game. It's a lot of work to try and do that. Yeah.
Magical guiding line is making me stupid. Quest didn't have it, and I'm like, oh god, I'm lost. What do I do?
The what didn't have what?
The guiding line for the quest. One of the steps in the Cloaked Ascendancy didn't have it working. It took me like 5 minutes to figure out where I needed to go.
Oh, yeah.
Lazy.
Yeah, sometimes quests do that. I don't know if it's like a bug or what, but they won't really tell you what to do, and then you're like, you're running around like you have no idea. I've done that before. You think tomorrow you're going to check out the new campaign at all? Or
Yeah, for sure, assuming that it's not like, grossly, wildly above an item level. I'm at like 21k and like, I don't know, somewhere in the 60s-ish for rating, so if that's high enough, then I'll definitely go check it out.
I think if I remember right, it says in the campaign window the recommended item level is 21,000, but that's like the minimum. So
yeah,
I don't know.
As long as I can like join groups for events or whatever, that's no big deal. I mean, I was able to pop into Avernus without too much trouble at like 18 or 19, I think.
Yeah, that's a good thing when like
not great for soloing.
No, but I guarantee you, like everyone in the guild will probably be running it too, so you can probably just hop in with someone and
mooch.
Yeah, basically just follow them around. Now, one thing I did notice in the new campaign that I actually don't think I saw really mentioned anywhere else is some of the quests, like the daily quests, are either class or race specific.
Huh, like the ones in the very, very beginning of the game?
Yeah, exactly. There's like the class and race specific ones, and I noticed some of the dailies because I was running with another guy, Nova. We were checking it out as soon as it hit the preview server, and we were trying to do quests together, and we kept getting different quests, like no matter what we did. So we ended up coming to the conclusion that they're like class-based. Interesting enough. So actually it might not be that easy to, you know, do quests with people. I didn't even remember that till now.
Yeah, we ran into that playing with my friend because we just started playing, like I played an alt and he started playing, and they have like race and class specific quests. We didn't, we were like, what's going on here when we first started out. I don't think they carried on with those for that long though.
No, they didn't. So it's interesting to see it coming back into the game after like literally 7 years. Oh yeah, I forgot. They actually tried to rework the PvP campaign too.
Wait, there's a campaign?
For PvP, yeah. You can get some boons, but I don't think... Oh yeah, PvP boon point. Claim PvP boon point as a reward for making progress in the PvP campaign. Interesting. Yeah, again though, I don't think anyone really focuses on doing the PvP campaign. You could probably complete it if you wanted to, but...
Which campaign is it?
If you open your campaign window, it's under the Sword Coast Chronicles, and it's just under the Descent into Avernus.
Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah, how about that? Yep, no thanks.
No thanks. It's not worth the effort.
What's the Dungeon Master stuff? Portobello's game, Respin's game?
Oh, those are for some events that were in the game before. And to be honest, I'm not even 100% sure if those events are actually continued. If they're like coming back to the game. Like... Yeah, I don't know. But it's been a long time since I've seen it in the game. So either it's going to return really soon, or it's just not in the game anymore. But it was an event. It's actually a pretty cool event, but... Yeah, I don't know. It's just, is it once a year? I don't remember. Probably if
Elemental Evil is like part of the Sword Coast Chronicle stuff at the top, instead of, I don't know, any of the other ones. Particularly the Icewind Dale stuff.
Yeah, I think it's because it's like a leveling campaign. So I think they really wanted to add like the leveling campaigns in there. Because way back when the game started, the level cap was 60. And then at one point they decided to make the level cap 70. And at that time is when they introduced Elemental Evil. So Elemental Evil was like the new campaign you could run to go from level 70 or level 60 to level 70.
Right.
And they kind of just kept it at level 60. Even though, like, I mean, theoretically, it's not a great campaign. Like, I think it would be a lot more beneficial to have like Undermountain start at level 60 instead, and like Elemental Evil just be like a side campaign or something. You know, because I mean, the amount of XP you get from Undermountain anyways, it's probably close to enough to carry you to 80. You know, granted...
Oh, it definitely is. Even with double experience, like, even if you didn't account for that, I was still out-leveling areas, like, faster than I could complete them.
Yeah, exactly. So I almost feel like it would be better to have, like, Undermountain just be, like, the leveling campaign from 60 to 80, and just have, like, Elemental Evil as, like, a side campaign under the Legacy areas. Because, I don't know, it's just my opinion, but I don't think Elemental Evil is that captivating, at least for a new player. It wasn't as, like, an experienced player, so...
I mean, I did the intro and didn't bother coming back to it, and I still haven't gone back to even finish the next step, so yeah.
Okay, then that's enough said. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Because, like, the first campaigns you get introduced to, first you have Acquisitions Incorporated, which I think is already a turnoff for a lot of people. It's, like, such a misconception to what the later modules look like. And then Elemental Evil, just, it doesn't really have anything special about it. It's kind of boring, so doesn't
Part
really...
of its appeal, I think, might have been nostalgia for Minx, but I find that not funny.
Oh, Minx and Boo,
Yep.
with his little hamster. Maybe, but even then, I think the devs should try and stay away from comedy. Like, no offense to them.
That's universally true in all MMOs.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Comedy is too far spread, and unfortunately, it's probably not to everyone's humor. And plus, like, the majority of people playing this game, I would say, are in their 30s or 40s, like the general age group, based on what I know from the guild anyways. And I don't think the kind of humor they added to those campaigns really is for, like, 30 to 40-year-old adult people, right?
The only reason it felt like to me he was there was, like, nostalgia for people that played Baldur's Gate 2. And if you don't have that touchstone, it's like, haha, it's wacky guy with a hamster. That's so wacky.
Yeah, probably.
And frankly, even knowing who he is and having played Baldur's Gate 2, it's still, haha, wacky guy with a hamster. He's so wacky.
He is pretty wacky. Again, I just, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite campaign, to say the least.
Yeah, I haven't done everywhere, but so far I really liked Undermountain. Storm King's Thunder stuff's cool, Icewind Dale stuff's cool, Chult's cool, Ravenlaw's cool. Avernus is okay. I don't love it. Partly, like I said, because I was like, wait a minute, this is the Stronghold map, but red.
Yeah, basically.
And then, on top of that, this was incredibly minor, but holy crap, the ambient noise in that zone is so fucking loud.
Oh, you should have seen Storm King's Thunder, Bryn Shander, when they first released it. They added so much snow, you literally, even with, like, top graphics, you could not see anywhere past your character. It was, like, literal snowstorm, and everyone was complaining, like, what is going on? Like, reduce the snow. We can't see anything. So funny. But I never play the game with sound, honestly, so I never have any idea what the game even sounds like. It's terrible.
It's uneven. The voice acting in this game is generally not so good. Although it does improve later. That's once again a bad first impression thing. Like, the early voices are like, it sounds from Jim from accounting. Then later on it sounds like a bit better. But I don't know, coming from like, you know, games with, again, $50 bajillion budgets, and surprisingly they sound a bit better.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, I hardly ever listen to, like, the voiceovers or, like, the sounds, the music of the game. So, yeah, I don't know about any of that. Because, like, in the 7 years I've played, I couldn't even tell you, like, what basic NPCs sound like. I have no idea. But probably if, like, the background music and, like, the audio is really good, probably I would have played it by now. I don't know. I always like to listen to my own music when I play, and I find the game music just like is distracting from that. So I never liked the game music, but I need to try it out sometime. I haven't yet.
Alright, did I unlock this yet? Just trying to get my like weekly bonus campaign nonsense done. No, I haven't. Alright.
Which one are you unlocking?
Cloaked Ascendancy, because I needed it for my weekly.
Oh, River District.
Yeah. I think I'm almost done. Or at least almost done with the weekly. I'm probably not going to continue with this campaign, at least right now. I'm going to go back and do Undermount, I think, because everybody said that's where I need to get my weapon upgraded. Because I don't, like, once again, I have absolutely no idea where to get a weapon. Like, I got Cobalt Greatsword, which is $950 at the auction house, and then I was like, okay, where do I go from here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably, like, from Undermountain, you want the Alabaster weapons? I guess that's how you pronounce it. But,
is it that at the end, like at the very end of the campaign? Or just at the end of the quest line?
What happens is when you finish Undermountain, you'll unlock Master Expeditions, and then you can run 3 of those a day. And from those, like, there's a whole system with, like, runic corruptions and everything you'll go through. But basically, like, for every run, you have a chance to get, like, some kind of reward. And then runes are, like, bonus rewards. And then you'll also get a rune an etched rune, whatever it's called, that you can exchange with another NPC for extra rewards. And it's highly recommended new players, like, farm them, because you can get, like, best in slot companion gear, new pieces of gear, not necessarily best in slot, but at least it's, like, an upgrade somewhat. And then, as well, like, the weapons. Come Module 19, there will be new weapons, and I don't really know how that's gonna play out.
Somebody when I was doing the queues earlier, I think it was Dirty, was talking to me, he was saying that there's going to be, like, chests or something in that zone that will drop weapons that are artifact weapons, so maybe I should just wait for that, since it's all of tomorrow.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you have... Yeah, and you'll have infinite time to explore it once it goes live, so... No harm in it.
Is there anything worthwhile with these crown seals, or should I just convert it to astral diamonds? It's not even a significant amount of astral diamonds, looking at it.
Trying to think, I'd have to see the seals. There's, like, so many different seals in the game.
This is all, like, item level 770, so I'm guessing it's too low to be relevant.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, is there, like, a companion somewhere? I'm trying to think what... No? Then probably, yeah, astral diamonds. Because I know one of them has a Wererat companion, which it's not that great, but I mean, if you're starting off on the game, anything to get, like, your bolster up, and it's basically like a free companion, so there's, you know, no reason not to get it. But other than that, not much you can do with seals right now, as far as I know.
Yeah, this all looks dated. Some of them have, like, cool equip effects, but their raw item level's just too low. I'm only asking because I'm almost capped on them, so I guess I will just convert it to astral diamonds at a crappy conversion rate for now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Best thing to, I guess, just wait and see how it plays out. Seals of the Crown has the Wererat. So it is Seals of the Crown.
Yeah, I saw that one, the Crown one. How does Burnished stack up against Alabaster?
That's a great question. Alabaster is more so for, like, mobs, essentially, like fighting mobs. And then Burnished is better for single target, just to put it quickly.
Okay.
You know, but
pick that up.
after that, like, someone It just said recently. Where was it? Lion's Guard weapon is good too, but as far as I know, next module there's like a Celestial set. I think I heard that they changed the tooltip. Not 100% sure, but it should be best in slot next module. The Celestial set.
Is it going to be only from the trial or just from the zone?
I think it's only probably going to be from the trial. I'd have to check. I haven't checked as much as I should have, but yeah, I think it'll probably be like from the trial. But then as well, there's going to be some other weapons that have higher weapon damage. So yeah.
AFK a second, I'm gonna grab a drink, I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Burnished is better for healers too. See, I feel like I should know a lot more about healers, and I just don't. Like, I used to play a healer, like, what was it? Module 12-ish? Like, you know, you can kind of tell if I look at my healer from here. It's pretty old. Like, it's not that well geared, but yeah, I haven't really kept up with healers over the years. I like my rogue, but it would be useful to know some of that stuff. Since we were talking about Sharndar, let's go. Not really sure going to where, but somewhere. Banshee key. And there is still another wall. Module 16 took away my love for healers. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, they really changed how healing worked, and I'm not sure everyone appreciated all those changes. And I think coming Module 19 too, from what I've been reading, a lot of healers also don't appreciate the changes that they're still planning to make. So I have no idea. I have no idea how that's gonna eventually play out, but at least welcome back. Now you're playing a barbarian, right?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay. I was trying to think if you're playing a paladin or a barbarian, but yeah.
Yeah, barbarian. Just DPS at this point. I haven't even really looked at the tank spec. I typically played tanks in MMOs, but last couple I've played, I'm taking a break from that.
Yeah. It would be nice to see like barbarians become like a more viable tank option so that like you could be DPS or tank. But so far that hasn't come about, but I imagine at some point they'll try to fix that. Would be nice anyway.
Funny because that mimics my experience with the warrior class in 14 when I first started playing that. This is ancient history. The tanks in that game are all really well balanced now, but when the game first came out, warriors were like second class citizens to paladin tanks.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But did they like fix it down the line or?
Oh yeah, they fixed it pretty quickly actually. And like in the current state of the game, all the tanks are in a really good place.
Okay. That's pretty good then.
No, I love that game. I think it's great. Actually, both of those games, ESO and 14, I think they're excellent. ESO is almost a single player Elder Scrolls game, honestly. So if you like, Skyrim or whatever, then you can just go and play that for a bit. But it's so freaking massive that just like doing the story content is like hundreds of hours. So I can only do it so much at a time.
Yeah, for sure.
And 14 is similar. It's like whenever they do a huge big expansion or patch drop or whatever, that's usually when I go back to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Neverwinter eventually will probably come close to kind of like that, where there's just like a ton of content, a ton of stuff to work through. I mean, it already is, but from my experience, it could be like way more. And they seem like, instead of focusing on older content, they just seem to like introducing new content all the time. So yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to see them like pause on like the new content though, and like update some of the old stuff.
This is so confusing. I'm just like jumping through timelines right now.
Oh, with the different campaigns?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like I said, this is a self-inflicted problem. It's just legitimately funny because, like, since I'm bouncing through sort of the intro parts of each of the campaigns, it's like, oh no, such and such a character died, and then you're like a few campaigns back, and it's like, oh no, he's fine.
Oh yeah, for sure. Usually I think around those campaigns it was like Celeste and Makos.
Yep, that'd be the ones.
Yep. Just wait until you get further progressed into the Soshin Star storyline kind of thing. It gets really weird from then on out.
I guess I don't think I'm gonna do it tonight because I'll probably just go do some Undermountain as soon as I finish these weeklies. But I think after this, I should go dig around and dig up like a chronological order and then just do the stuff in that order, because none of it's going to improve my character like item quality wise, right? So may as well do it in order for story.
Yeah, for sure.
So if I'm not mistaken, the only ways to improve my character is Avernus stuff, the very tail end of Undermountain, and that's it? Or am I missing something?
Basically, like, you'll want to be farming. Like, I don't know, like, as of right now, but Module 19 will probably be a little bit different. But you'll definitely want to be, like, doing the bell runs and the insurgencies, whatever it is, in Avernus. It's very repetitive, and I personally got really tired of it really quick. But undeniably, you can get some good Ashta Diamonds from the Jumo bags, and also, like, some good gear. And you can get, like, other cool rewards, too, from the Juma bags. So, it's actually kind of worth it. Like, I can't deny that. You know, so that would be, like, the top thing, probably, to farm. And then, of course, working on your boons and doing the Master Expeditions. I think I heard somewhere that Module 19 is having new companion gear, but I personally haven't seen it, so...
Right. Yeah, I think unless I'm missing something, I don't think... Juma bags don't have right side gear, correct?
Don't have what kind of gear?
Right side, like necklace, rings, belt, shirt, pants.
Don't.
Because I think I have all the left side. I've got helm, chest, gloves, boots from Juma bags.
Okay.
So I just need weapon and sword knot, which I guess is end of Undermountain from expeditions, or in theory tomorrow in the new zone.
Yeah.
And then my necklace belt is Mad Mage set along with the artifact. And then I just have auction house rings. My shirt is from the who's it marks. What are they called? I don't remember. Whatever the current marks are that give 1200 gear, but I got the shirt from that, and as soon as I have enough, I'll get the pants from that. So that just leaves really just my weapon and companion gear, and companion gear is end of Undermountain also.
Yeah. Let me look at your character for a sec.
It's weird that you can't inspect like companions and stuff, given how important that is. So you can't like look at somebody and be like, "Oh, hey, you should do XYZ."
Yeah, you can kind of inspect companions on other people if you're in like the same. If you're in the same instance, then you can, but like outside of that, you can't. Which before you couldn't even like really inspect people. Like that is a relatively new thing in the game. If I remember right, like when the game first started, you couldn't inspect people. Funny enough. So you always had to ask like, "Oh, link me all your stuff. Tell me what you're using." You know, so it's nice that you can, you know, look at people. Okay, so you do have an artifact set then, I see.
Yes, I do. Mad Mage. I have no idea if it was a good set. It just happened to be something that was reasonably priced in the auction house, so I said, sure, why not? Let's just do that.
Yeah, the artifact is really good. I'm trying to think. I know for rogues, like a lot of people recommend this set. Oops, knocked over something. But a lot of people recommend the set like for rogues, but I'm not sure about barbarians. But either way, it's still like a decent set. Like it's not a bad set. So yeah, definitely good to start off with. Rings look good.
I was going to push it to legendary for item level or whatever, but then like again, it needed like rank 5 enchanting stones, which I think are very expensive. Let me see here.
They're pretty easy to farm from the Dread Ring if you give it like a week or two.
Really? Okay. Yeah, everybody said do Dread Ring, and I guess that's why. So.
Yeah, I have a video somewhere on my channel about it that you could probably find.
Yeah, 10 for 280,000. That's not like unachievable. Obviously, they're just fairly pricey.
Yeah.
Looks like about 28k each. That's not too bad. Let me see what I'd need to. Although, hold on, I take that back. 10% chance to rank up. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like spamming enough wards to get that because I'm not going to waste them. But the wards, of course, are expensive as well.
Yeah, the wards are ridiculously expensive on PC. Like, I don't think they're that expensive on console, but on PC, like, just some preservation wards, like, they're down in price right now because of the, the Jubilee event. Right. But preservation.
It's still almost $1 million for a stack of 100. I mean, obviously, you don't necessarily need a stack of 100, but given the percentage chances on these, like, you're going to use them up sooner or later upgrading your stuff.
Yeah, you're definitely going to use more than 100. When you're upgrading stuff, unless you're really lucky. But yeah, right now it's 900,000, but literally like just a few weeks ago it was like 990,000. It's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I kind of figured, all right, well, doing the upgrades is incremental and it's like stupid expensive from where I'm sitting, so I'm not going to worry about that for right now. I'll focus on the, you know, easier upgrades, which sounds like companion crap at the end of Undermountain and then my weapon. I think the stuff I have on my companion right now is like 965, so I don't know what the stuff at the end of Undermountain is, but people said it's the current best, so.
Yeah, it's like I'll link it in the guild chat. Like it's a little higher. It's not like super incredibly better, but you can get like different stuff.
It's got 2 slots, so that's definitely better.
Yeah, but there's like all different ones, like either double stat or single stat that you can go. There's if you go to the collections page, usually it's a good place to see all of that.
Oh, that is one thing I love about this game. Collections page owns. That's just great. Everything about that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, so
that's not actually a resource for like being able to like pull out copies of gear or appearance stuff, is it? It's just entirely informational.
It's informational, and you can also, if like you go to, let's say, Epic Equipment and you go to some armor, if you take your mouse and you right click on it, it'll show you what it looks like as an appearance item.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, it's good for trying to set up like different transmutes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you can just preview it, and then you note too there's a lot of variety in being able to change the color. So you can kind of customize it a bit too, so it's actually pretty useful for that. The only unfortunate part I find is not everything is listed on the collections page.
Right.
Like that should be listed. There's sometimes like modules where like things just don't get added, and then you have to like, you don't even know it exists because of it. Siani.
Yeah, that was, God, the artifact stuff was super confusing. Because one thing that wasn't clear to me was I was like, okay, so you can upgrade artifacts. Does that mean that like once you have an artifact, you can just keep upgrading it and its item level will be current? No, it does not mean that.
No.
But for some of the later stuff, it does mean that, even though, you know, its level is like potentially even a little bit lower than whatever you have equipped at the moment. Once it's fully upgraded, it's just not, you know, it's not apparent at a glance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely... There's a lot in this game like that leaves room for error, I guess you can say. Unfortunately so.
Alright, did that finish that? No, it didn't. One more quest, River District. Alright, give me something easy, jerk.
Oh yeah, you gotta do all those, what's it called? Gosh, now I can't remember.
It's like, I don't even know what's going on here. It's like dig sites, guard posts, and stuff in the district.
Yeah, you gotta do all the dig sites. That's what it is.
I only want to do one. Give me a fast one. What have you got here? Visit ritual sites, or visit every district and murder people. Dig sites.
So that sounds exciting.
Is there a quest limit, like in your quest log?
There is no quest limit, no.
Really?
So you can basically hold on to as many quests as you want.
Huh. Alright, well, that's cool.
I remember years ago, I partied with some guy that literally had like every quest possible in the game, including Foundry quests, like in his quest log. And when you would like party with him and open up your map, like you couldn't even see a particular zone because it was all these quest zones. Like go here, go here, go here, go here, go here. And it's like, dude, like that would drive me nuts if that was like...
That doesn't cause him like crushing performance problems on their end, but whatever.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of it somewhere, but it's probably on my old computer that isn't connected right now. Of course, I did transfer everything onto the external hard drive. Now I'm going to check my external hard drive because it was so funny. Like I took a picture of it because I couldn't believe how many quests this guy had. Oh god. I have so many pictures too. This isn't good. Saved pictures? Nope. Screenshots. No. Sky climbing. Nope. Stories. It could be. Oh yeah, I have a lot of screenshots in here. A lot of original old ones. Let's see.
Sounds kind of neat. It's funny for a game named Neverwinter. It feels like I didn't really spend much time in Neverwinter past the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny because, yeah, that is true. You don't really spend a lot of time in Neverwinter, like Protector's Enclave. Like, you go to, like, exchange quests and turn them in, do events, trade stuff, but, like, most of the time you're in other maps. That is so cool. now I'm gonna be going through like however many thousand of screenshots to find that one.
Kind of kicking myself for not saving like super ancient MMO screenshots on like G Drive or something. I don't even know if that stuff existed back then. Like WoW is what, 16 years old now?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's like my first MMO that I played was, I mean, technically it was RuneScape, but I didn't like play it that heavily. But like the first one that I usually say was Dofus, and I started playing that in 2008. And I gotta tell you, like, the amount of screenshots I have from back then are, like, so limited. But, like, nowadays, like, if you see my screenshot folder in Neverwinter, I have way too many quests, like, or not quests, screenshots, like, probably over 10,000 by now.
That's a fair number, yes.
Just, I take way too many, way more than I ever should. Okay, I cannot find that screenshot, but I know it's somewhere. I just would have to find it. Okay, I give up. I'll find it at some point. Over 10,000. Yes, I have over 10,000 screenshots. Which is way too many. RuneScape. Actually, it's pretty neat to see how games evolve over like a period of time.
Yeah, I do think, like I said, it feels like MMO development in general is pretty darn dead. But like the ones that have survived or thrived or whatever, like it's like they're in a pretty healthy spot. Like you know, obviously like most people over the last couple of months, I've been bouncing around between different games, and a lot of games that either I had written off a long time ago or barely even touched. Like they're pretty good. You got the time and you're interested in them, they're a heck of a lot of fun. Like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Like I completely skipped out on that, and playing it now, it's pretty cool. If you like Star Wars and you like Knights of the Old Republic, it's basically Knights of the Old Republic 3, just with lots of other people.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Trying to think. Because, like, Neverwinter released in 2013, but I know before Neverwinter there was a series of games called Neverwinter Nights that I know a lot of people played. I've never played them, but from what I hear, it is kind of related to Neverwinter. It's just, it's not quite the same, but it's similar.
There's still, as far as I know, Neverwinter servers up. Like, not the MMO, but the original multiplayer, build your own. That's where the whole Foundry thing in this game come from, as far as I know, because Neverwinter was like a, you know, build your own module, D&D, private server kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I know from time to time, even, like, I'll see, like, I guess, like, the disc downloads for Neverwinter Night. I think there was a Neverwinter Nights too, wasn't there?
There was. It was not very good.
No, it wasn't?
No.
So 1 was better than 2.
2 was alright. 2 was done by Obsidian, the guys who did Fallout New Vegas, and were sort of the leftover developers from the original Fallout games, not 3, 4, but the original 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it had pretty good writing, but like the engine was blech. Like even at the time that it came out, it was pretty dated. So like these days, it just does not look good.
Yeah, I imagine. Even looking back at like my old screenshots of like how this game looked like back in like 2013, it did not look that good at all.
I have a suspicion that whenever the next gen consoles finally roll around and like we get into games coming out, not this year, but probably next year or two, that we're going to see a lot more games like Destiny and Warframe. As far, like, rather than just strict MMOs, because MMOs are so expensive to create.
They are very expensive to create.
And after so many companies got burned by them, like, I don't think there's going to be quite as many of them being developed. But it would not surprise me at all to see more stuff like Destiny and Warframe, and I guess maybe even Monster Hunter World to some extent. I don't know. Games that are like multiplayer and can have a lot of people playing them, but are not really MMOs.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't tried Warframe. I have tried Destiny before. My friend was really into Destiny at one point. And, like, he was obsessed with it. He actually got it tattooed on his arm, like the logo for Destiny. I'm like, you are nuts. You're gonna turn like 40-something and be like, yeah, this is what I did when I was like 17. Like, I don't know, but he like got like this big tattoo of it on his arm. It's ridiculous. But he always wanted me to play.
Hours of that, like unhealthy numbers of hours of it. But I think my group is pretty well burned out on it at this point for a variety of reasons. We may play the expansion that comes out at the end of this year, or actually, I think it's September. I don't remember. Fairly soon, a couple months away.
Yeah.
But we haven't been playing the last like couple of smaller sort of mini expansion releases. The Warframe is really good. It's weird and it's janky and it has way too much content for its own good, and it's confusing and it's difficult to get into, but it's also a crap load of fun. And like, they've improved that game so dramatically, it doesn't even resemble what it started out as, even a little. Like, it's kind of astonishing.
Yeah. I guess that's good though. As long as like the updates are good, then
yeah, they're really good. That game, it's funny you mentioned like going back and fixing old stuff. That's definitely not a thing they ever do in that game. They just keep piling crap on. They added like random sports ball modes. You can play like Space Ninja football, and then they were like, we should have like flying jetpack things, so they added flying jetpack things. And they're like, we should have controllable ships for our like clans, and they added controllable ships. And they're like, we should add raids, and they added raids. It's just like one thing after another. Like they just, oh, open world, we should have open world zones, and then they added those. We should have a story, and then they added that. And it's just like, it's crazy.
It sounds like they just piled things in that they thought sounded cool.
They do, and like in most cases that would be an utter disaster, but like it's like technically it's a beautiful game, and like world and design wise there's really nothing else quite like it. So it's pretty cool. It's definitely, it requires a certain taste. You got to be in a certain mood for the kind of grind that it has, but it's pretty fun. And one thing that is kind of neat is that they're not at all afraid of letting you become hysterically overpowered. Like that's like their design ethos is not really built around like, you know, you operate in this narrow band of power like most MMOs or whatever, right? It's more like, go hog wild, destroy everything, have fun.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's definitely cool. And there are even with that, there's still things you can do that'll be challenging for a group or whatever, which is fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know one of the games that I really enjoyed on PS4, I don't know if you've played it, is Titan's Fall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's always been a fun game for me. I haven't played it in a long time though, actually.
We played a lot of Titanfall and less Titanfall 2. And a couple of my friends played Apex. I didn't really get into it though. I don't really like Battle Royale games that much.
Yeah, I mean, my friend and I, we used to play Titan's Fall 2, actually, a lot. More so than the first one. But, it was a fun game.
Does Reclaim Magic drop from any enemy or only the Far Realm rituals?
I think because you have the reclaimed magic and you have the reclaimed
Riches and weapons.
riches and weapons. Yeah, I think each area. So you have the area for Nostura, the area for Gyrian, and the area for Cabal. And I think depending which area you're in, it'll either be the weapons,
One of those.
the
Okay.
magic, or like, you know.
So I should just murder some mobs and see which one drops magic, if that's what I need.
Yeah, probably. I believe that's how it works. I remember way back when it used to be really easy to like build up, you know, the reclaimed riches and stuff. Like you would easily get like a stack of 1,000, and then people would like spawn the ships like all day, like the ship heroic. When you donate, it like adds up, and then you can spawn a heroic encounter. And people used to like just, you know, farm it like crazy and then like spam the heroic all day. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Huh, neat. You get little, like, mini vaults that you can access when you claim an area.
What do you mean, like?
Like, I don't know, I paid some dude a couple resources and he let me into an underground vault area or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the dig sites. Yeah, so there's like vaults, dungeons, and crypts, I think, that you can enter. I think there's 4 or 5 different ones. And they're just like little areas you can go. Some of them will have a boss, not all. And yeah, actually it's pretty cool. Anyways, to be honest, it's like 2 a.m. my time. I don't know about you, but it's getting pretty late.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm probably gonna head to bed.
Sounds good.
Alright. Well, it was nice talking.
Yep.
And I'll definitely take note of what you were saying about like more content for newer players. And
for sure, it would be helpful. Like I said, if it's something you think you'd enjoy creating, I'm certain there's an audience for it right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll definitely take note of that and see what I can do. So.
Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Yeah. All right. Ciao. As for the stream, I am probably gonna end the stream too, because I would like to go to bed. Not gonna lie. So, have a good night, everyone. Take care. And probably be back with some kind of other stream. So, ciao ciao for now. I'm actually pretty tired. Actually, it is 2 a.m. Ciao ciao!